Hi Janelia, welcome to the Quint.
Thank you.
Congratulations on the massive success of Wade,
Yes.
produced by you.
Yeah.
If you could take us through, how is it like being directed by Ritesh?
It was special. I think there weren't any chances because I was his wife, if that's the first thing that people think. I think full credit to Ritesh because he was how he wanted it to look and how he wanted each expression to be. So I think as a director, I just felt Ritesh and me have done a couple of films before. This film is coming after 10 years. The year that we are both in the industry, we started off together. There's a very nice rapport between two of us as actors. We don't step into each other's face. We love working together. If most people say that how does a husband and wife relationship work, but I think we're one of respect, and I think that's why it works because he doesn't get into my space, I don't get into his space.
Coming back on the sets
Yeah.
also after the same comfort, what are the changes, if you could elaborate on those?
So for one, I was playing a very different girl that I've ever played before. I am a very different person from what I was 10 years before. Was a big deal. I have been part of 5 industries and I've had a good run in all these industries, and I was very hopeful that the people of Maharashtra also enjoy me or accept me, and I think they've done it wholeheartedly. So I definitely think there's a large degree of evolvement because when I did films earlier, I just knew one aspect of life. I didn't know what it was to be a homemaker. I didn't know what it was to be a mom. I didn't know the challenges that come in your everyday work as a homemaker, as a mom. And I'm going to be playing those characters. So I always say when people cast people who aren't mums, I don't know how they do it because I didn't know that till I had babies, they must be great actors, but there's an element of what you live that comes on screen, and I think that's the evolvement that has happened to me. It's commendable. I mean, I think just to know that we don't just stick to a certain kind of film, a certain kind of genre, a film that we used to. Like, it was very formula driven. Initially, I think people have broken those myths, people have gone ahead, people are writing interesting roles. Today, even if you play a 5-minute role in a film, it is well defined and well understood versus it just being one to be, just there. So I think this kind of involvement in scripts is showing, and I'm happy to be at a phase where I've seen much more and so many more mediums. I mean, today you have OTT as a medium, you have social media, which is another big medium. It's interesting to know that though your love will always be theatres, but it's interesting to know that you can do some content content that you personally want to do on different mediums, and you have people backing you in that.
And when
Pahalgam. I actually want to do the Kheer Ganga trek with my friends. I've
done that.
No, you haven't.
It's very crowded though.
Whatever.
It's beautiful. It's like that part of India, that landscape. I've not seen it anywhere else. And I've had to travel a lot because of YouTube. I've had to travel all over India, but I've never found anything like that.
Is it beautiful?
Dude, it doesn't feel like a part of this country. So, okay, honestly, it's a bit of a stoner town, Kasol and all that whole area. And you go upwards from there, you have Tosh. Then you go a little bit upwards from then you have Kheer Ganga. It used to be like a whole like stoner trek, but it's also the most beautiful part of India that I've seen. Really tall trees.
I've never been there. I've only trekked in Pahalgam. So I've been to Tullian Lake, which was actually like a very silly decision on our parts because it was not a one-day trek. Like, we should have gone there and stayed the night like normal people and come back the next morning. But we decided that we'll go and come back the same day. And I can't tell you, by the time we reached Tullian Lake, like, we saw the sunset, which I love because I'm obsessed with the sun and moon. And anybody that follows me on Instagram who has had 3 conversations with me probably knows this. But we've seen the sunset at Tullian Lake. It's beautiful. But now you know what happens after the sunsets? It gets dark. And you know what happens after that? You should not be trekking. You know what we did? We trekked. So we've come down this hills. And we left, I think, at about no, we were supposed to leave at 6 in the morning because I said, let's not trek in top sun, but nobody listened to me. We left at 7:30 and we started coming back down only at 6 and we've reached at 3 a.m. And it was extremely, tricky. But
Eerie.
it was not eerie, man. It was just hard. It was just
Okay.
we couldn't see where we were going beyond a point. And you know how those guides are like, "Arey, yahan pe atma hai, arey, yahan pe." I was like, "ठीक है, but is there a bear? Tell me that. I'll scare the atma, but I might not be able to scare the bear. So is there a bear here? Because that I need to know."
You have fear of animals?
Bears, man.
Okay.
I suddenly.
Not Atmas?
No.
You're chill with Atmas?
Yeah, have you met
Okay.
me?
Okay.
मुझसे डर जाए.
With this show, there's a meme that's been created which says, तेरा career गया भाड़ में, ये बता कि भूत होते हैं कि नहीं.
अच्छा.
Because we bring up bhoot a lot on the show.
अच्छा ऐसा. No. But I know I'm not. I believe honestly, at the risk of answering your question with more seriousness than you intended it, I believe that whether it's even sometimes animals, but animals, atma, anything. If your energies are positive now, they don't really mean to harm you. If
That's
you're
true.
in a good space and if you're in a good zone and you mean well, parallel universe, our universe, every universe will just help you mean well, I feel.
This is why I was looking forward to this conversation.
I'm telling you, I really feel that way.
I can't take the podcast to these places with anyone who's famous pretty much.
Why?
I think people are not comfortable talking about things on the other side of consciousness. So we have consciousness in us.
Yes.
Okay. And if you go beyond that, what happens after death? What happens when you're fast asleep without the dreams? What happens when you go into very deep meditations? No one wants to go there in terms of conversation.
See, honestly, if I'm being really honest with you, it comes with, I don't know why they don't want to talk about it, but as an actor, sometimes I am very aware or have started becoming very aware about what the other person wants to hear. And I myself have fallen victim to trying to then cater to that. So sometimes, I've spoken to actors that are famous about these things on my own.
Like spiritual stuff.
Not just spiritual stuff, anything that's not glitter, glamour, and gossip. But
Okay.
it could be about spirituality, it could be about trekking, it could be about food, anything. But sometimes I think that there is this misconception or this feeling which could be rooted in a certain form of reality that audiences only want to hear us talk rubbish. And because of that, we sometimes feel pressurized to do rubbish. And I don't want to talk on behalf of everybody else, but this has happened with me. That, अरे यार ये क्या ज्ञान पेल रही है, knock knock joke सुनाओ ना. मतलब, it's यार सुना दूंगी, but there's more to me than that, So sometimes I feel being aware about what people like about you. अरे ये नमस्ते दर्शकों कहती है, बड़ा funny है. या अरे ये knock knock करती है, बड़ा funny है. Sometimes I run the risk of people not taking me seriously, not, understanding that there is depth and gravitas beneath that or above that or just with that. So I don't know if actors are just shy of talking about it or if we have just become a little aware that maybe you don't want to hear us talk about this stuff.
Would you like the digital opinion on this?
Please.
And I'll tell you why.
Please.
Okay. So we have access to a huge amount of data.
Yeah.
Because we've been doing YouTubing for a while now.
Right.
Okay. And I consciously believe in hiring really young. So I feel even the 22-year-olds in my office are seniors now. And we have to constantly hire 18-year-olds,
मेरा
19-years.
बेचारा भाई तेरे ऑफिस में नहीं आ सकता. Senior हो गया.
Somewhat.
मेरा छोटू. You're gonna kill me for saying मेरा छोटू. He's not छोटू. Okay.
Yeah, but I learn a lot from the teenagers, the folks in college, etc., etc. Okay. I feel especially post the pandemic, the whole world has changed.
Of course.
I feel celebrityhood in India really needs podcasts, and I'm not saying that because I'm a podcaster, etc. But I think this is the medium where you'll get to show your human side more than anything else. Because see, I think in terms of content, this is the age of either really short content or really long content. And people watch it for two reasons. People either watch it for time pass and then go with short content, or they watch it to really feel something, to feel like they've had a Michelin star meal. And I honestly feel in the world of short content, y'all are going to get choked more and more in terms of what y'all are able to say. But in this medium, y'all can really express yourself. The closest reference point to this in the Indian film industry would be Simi Garewal's show, Rendezvous with Simi Garewal.
Yeah, of
But
course.
it was, again, that was an interview format. This is like a real human meditation, really helping you with your creativity. Like, there'll be such insane ideas in your head. Like, you'll be able to do the same scene. And I'm telling you, as an actor, your writer would have said it in a writing
Yeah, makes
sense.
sense.
You'll be able to do the same scene in 10 more ways than you knew you were even capable of. Like, new emotions will be present in your head.
My favorite thing about meditation is that I don't really like, if what you're saying happens, great. But like, I know a lot of people that say meditation helps with anxiety, meditation helps with this, meditation helps with that. The fact that I, of course, want to grow as an actor. I mean, it behooves me to know how to do a scene in 10 different ways. And there's so much that I want to do. I'm a very ambitious girl, honestly, unapologetically so. And there's so much that I want to do. So, of course, if meditation helps with that, great. Sometimes I do get anxious. Sometimes I do feel not great. If meditation helps with that, also great. But actually, I just do meditation because I like it. Like the fact that I'm doing it without an ulterior purpose is amazing.
Okay, I've built out a meditation app to train people to begin the process. And the big challenge we're facing is that young people think it's boring, think it's a waste of time. And I've just realized that, not that we're not young, but by young, I mean teenagers.
Right.
I feel you need to see
I'm
some.
19, by the way.
Yeah, I was talking about you only.
Yeah, thank you.
So you need to see some amount of pain to be able to really appreciate the meditation. And that's why I feel a lot of people in their 20s actually end up taking it up, because they see some pain prior to that. And it could be anxiety, it could be some sort of failure, which gives them the possibility of this one weird activity being a fix for a lot of past
I don't really know
pains.
if pain is it, but definitely experience.
Mm.
So and pain is probably part of experience. So you're right. But for me, I think it's just that little bit of therav. You need like that little bit of like
Pause.
energy. That कि चलो जाओ कूदते रहो जब थोड़ा थक गए और फिर then you can re-evaluate the things that matter.
Yeah.
And even like not even as a teenager, but even when I started Kedarnath, at that time, the amount of like energy that I had, and when I say energy, it doesn't mean that I don't have energy today. I'm quite the energetic girl. But in terms of just like being slightly all over the place, as opposed to at least acknowledging the need to channelize your energy, which is a very recent endeavor on my part.
I find it really cool that your journey began with Kedarnath.
I find it really cool too.
And I know there was this whole thing about what's your real debut film, but then that's your real debut.
Kedarnath is my real debut film. First set I've been on. First time you saw me in the theater. What else is a debut film?
When you were shooting that film, did the cast and crew feel this presence of Shiva or anything?
See, I don't know about everybody, but I think that for me, whether you want to go to Kedarnath or whether you want to go to Mahakaleshwar and watch the Aarti, or whether you want to be on a movie set trying to get the right shot for the rights, for the song, the fact that your DOP, your lightman, your boom dada, your actor, your hairdresser, they're all working together to achieve that. Or everybody in the temple has their eyes shut and they're all praying together. That synergy. And I face them both constantly in the same place.